is the last thing that I want to talk about is the Guardian helmets. It just looks like some padding that goes over a regular helmet. Am I right in that?
That's basically what it
Or does it
is.
go
I
under?
know. No, no, it goes over. It's not going to look exactly like that. I believe some college teams actually wear them. It's also optional if they want to wear them or not. And what they'll do, they'll actually match it to the helmet itself. So it wouldn't really stand out as bad as that. They'd look bigger than what they're wearing, but other than that, it's not going to look like they're walking around with foam pillows on their head like in those pictures.
Yeah. Did you, I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, 2000, Vince McMahon started the XFL, and his. I don't know if you did. You watch any of that at the time? I'm sure you were really young, but did you watch any of
Oh,
that at the time in 2000?
I was about 5 years old, so no.
Yeah. Well, so like the whole idea of that was that football's weak and that this was gonna be a return to like a man's game, and they didn't do a coin toss. Like they had a 40-yard dash and you had to like get the ball before the other guy, and that's
What?
how you decided. Yeah, and like they had like overly sexualized cheerleaders and, and just like all sorts of crazy stuff. It was crazy. um you could put anything on the back of your jersey and all that kind of stuff, and it didn't last longer than a season. There's a lot of really bad injuries, like someone got paralyzed on the field, and just like it was really
Oh
bad.
shit.
So like I get the need for these safety rules, but I sometimes I'm just like, are they going too far? Like, the no dip drop tackles and all that stuff. I'm just like, what is
How
are
else
they
are you
taking?
supposed to tackle them? How else are you supposed to tackle them? You can't horse collar. You can't. I mean, face mask. Of course, you don't want to see that happen. You
Yeah, so
can't even.
basically
You, oh, what's up?
you basically have to be in front of your guy, right? So if you're behind him, you're fucked on defense, right?
Basically.
so so I'm just like, the NBA went through a thing where they changed the way the refs call the games to benefit offense, and then we saw 170 point games. It's just like crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then they had to change it. So like I'm just wondering if there's going to be something like that in the NFL. And I know I'm not necessarily saying that they shouldn't wear these pads or whatever. I am for player safety, but I just at some point, is it still a game if you can't tackle someone from behind anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the is it still football if we're playing with all these weird rules where defense can't do anything? What do you think about all that?
I think when it comes to the players themselves, I mean, it benefits them in the long run. They could have a longer career, not have to worry about, these life-altering injuries. Well, I mean, they're still going to happen, just not as often. The fact of the matter that they made the Guardian helmets optional and not mandatory, I mean, that'll tell you a lot. That'll show you a lot of players, who actually care about themselves and not just the money. A lot of people are clowning on them, saying they look goofy. They're p-wording the league, catting the league. But I'm all for player safety. I mean, they're gonna look like a couple of goofballs, like someone out of Spaceballs, but it is what it is. I'd rather them at the end of the day be able to go home to their families and not hear a second voice telling them to murder them all or, go jump off a bridge and, CTE is real, man.
Yeah, no joke. CTE is real. Like it brings up questions, right? Like, should kids be allowed to play? Uh, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I know that like America runs on this, but high
Yeah,
school, high school to college to the pros and everything. That's the American system. but it
Let
just
me let, let me give you some inside baseball on that. Well, just not inside baseball because it's not for everyone. Let me just give you a little part of my life. All right,
yeah,
I was never able to play football, let alone street football with my cousins. Was very it would get pretty violent and whatnot. But I was always reprimanded from my mom. You know, she's like, "Get your ass inside. You're gonna get hit and go crazy. Or they're gonna knock something loose." So I was never able to join any actual sports. Like, I've always wanted to play football, never had the chance to. Only time I'd be able to play is when I'd sneak out with my cousins, you know. And we end up in a random field and hey, let's play ball, but it was always like two-hand touch. So, you know, I grew up playing that version of football. I never got to
yeah.
experience, you know, actually getting tackled and whatnot. So I have no problem with what was I going getting with this? I guess I could see it from both ways. I would like to see football the way it is, but the way I was raised also it kind of pushes me to more towards, you know, safety first. As for kids playing being able to play it, I don't think we're gonna have someone like fucking Ray Lewis knocking out another kid, so yeah, I don't think it'd be that dangerous. Now when it comes to high school and whatnot, I mean, I've seen people get stingers and their backs messed up for life or torn
Yeah.
ACLs and shit like that. But that could happen with anything, man. Shit. Even playing
Well,
basketball young happens. What's up?
that's kind of what I'm getting at though, because I played high school football and I did injure my knee and everything, and it's just like one of those things to where it's like, yeah, you know the risk when you get involved, but like CTE is something that doesn't just happen. Like it builds up over time. So if you're like a quarterback or whatever, or tight end, like someone who catches these short passes that gets tackled, that kind of stuff builds up over time. So player safety is important. Like obviously, we want everyone to be as safe as they can, but football in essence is a rough game. A lot of people are known to get hurt playing football and all that stuff. So it's a fine line, and I just think that it's kind of it's kind of weird that they're changing all these rules about how to tackle and everything like that. And it's just like, if you catch a ball in the open field and all the defenders are behind you, like they might as well just let you score the touchdown at this point. So it's
Basically,
like,
I
so
guess
it's
what I
like
was
doesn't
getting at what I was getting at, I guess, is I could do with the Guardian helmets, maybe get rid of that hip drop tackle rule. I mean, that shit makes no sense whatsoever. You
yeah,
know,
because
you could
it's
take
like
one and not the other. What's up?
it kind of, to me, it takes away the competitive edge of the game. So it's like, yeah, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We sign up, especially when you get to the NFL level, you're making money. Like I know that not everybody in the NFL is, like a millionaire or whatever, but at the same time, it is your job to play the game. So, I
If I
just
could,
think that,
if I could give an example from another sport, it's like well, like you said, when they started with that whole player safety stuff for the NBA, James Harden was getting 30 plus free throws a night. Defenders didn't even know how to go at him. To the point they just get out of his way and let him in. It's like, what the hell do you want us to do? You guys are gonna call a foul every single time. We can't touch him a certain way. We can't swipe. We can't put our arms on him. You know, and that's kind of the direction where football is going. Like you said, he's like, might as well just let the damn running back or wide receiver run it in once he gets past you. You can't tackle him if he's ahead of you. You can't. You know, you get what I'm getting at, right?
yeah,
It's like, how
yeah,
else are you
no,
supposed to tackle him?
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it kind of takes away the competitiveness of the game, and you want there to be player safety and all that kind of stuff. But like I'm all for the Guardian helmets, but I want us to talk about the Guardian helmets because it brings up like the broader issue of player safety, and I just kind of feel like the NFL is taking it a little bit too far, and they're going to see with this hip drop rule that you can't really tackle anyone once they get past you, and it's going to change the game, and they're going to have to backtrack that, I think. So we'll see how all that plays out on the field, of course, but I think that they might have taken it a step too far, and I say that to mean like I am for player safety. I just think that there's a balance to it. Everybody knows that playing football is dangerous.
Yeah,
So
so like you said, we're here for player safety, right? But we also want to be entertained. I don't want to see these motherfuckers running around covered in bubble wrap. That's not
yeah,
that's not really bringing me in or attracting me to the sport, you know? Like
yeah,
sometimes I'll even go back on, on TikTok or YouTube and look at hardest hits in the NFL, because they used to hype you up. Oh, did you see so and so got knocked out or they collided midair? Now you don't even get that type of energy out of the fans anymore. You're like more groaning and whatnot when they lay them out, and they're like, "Oh, here comes the fucking flag." You get what I
yeah.
mean? It's very. I keep wanting to say it, but it's very kiddified.
Well, I appreciate you for not saying it. Well, let's see. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. This was our draft reaction episode and introduction to the podcast. So thanks for joining us on the No Punts podcast, everybody. Um, Elias, do you want to give your handle out, or do you still want to wait because you're going to change it? Or
I'm gonna go ahead and change it. It's gonna include something with the Sucios, because I ride for my boys at USOA. So
uh,
you
yeah,
you you know how
USOA.
that is.
Yeah. So you can always follow me on X. I'm at Matt Lerma underscore PS, and we'll shout out Elias's handle when he gets it ready.
Or
But
you know what? They could follow my current one right now. Follow me at Sith Lord Elias on the X, or just follow
all
the
right,
pod and you'll find me in that
yeah,
profile somewhere.
we also have a page just for the pod called at No Punts Pod, just POD. So go ahead and check us out there as well. We'll be doing these episodes more frequently and then every week once the season starts. So stick it out with us, guys. I appreciate everyone for watching this first episode with us. Make sure that you like the video and comment on it to help us with the YouTube algorithm. And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Later.